On this sunny summer day, John was driving to another state to finally close a deal he had been preparing for over 2 months. He was driving a black Mustang, aggressively overtaking other cars. John was in a hurry and frequently drove into the oncoming lane, crossing the solid line. Overall, this was his usual driving style. He was extremely annoyed by the heavy traffic, which was causing him to be late for his meeting. Suddenly, the navigator beeped and suggested that John turn onto a rural road to bypass the traffic jam. John sharply turned the wheel, cutting off a nearby car, and quickly took the route suggested by the navigator. Something subtly changed in the surrounding world after John turned onto the new road. There were no other cars on it. They all sped past this turn as if not noticing it. This did not bother John in the slightest, and confidently pressing the gas, he sped along the empty road. After a few minutes, John saw an old bus stop in the distance. A young, beautiful girl was sitting there, reading a book. John stopped and offered to give her a ride. After a brief argument, the girl agreed and got into the car. The girl turned out to be an excellent conversationalist. She said she was going to visit her parents in a nearby town and hadn't been able to visit them for many years. Then she fell silent, lost in thought. John asked what was wrong. She said she remembered driving with her ex-husband a few years ago. They had a big fight. He was driving very fast, lost control, and they got into an accident. When John asked if the accident was severe, she didn't answer. John decided to change the subject. The girl gladly supported the idea and cheerfully began chattering about her life. Their conversation flowed easily and naturally as they passed dozens of miles of forests and fields. At some point, they fell silent. John decided to turn on some music and reached for the audio system display, accidentally touching the girl's hand. Something was wrong. The skin on her hand was cold and unpleasant to the touch. He slowly turned his head. Dark circles had appeared under her eyes, and a black liquid was dripping from her chin. John froze in horror as the girl changed before his eyes. Darkness seemed to thicken around her. He could no longer tear his gaze away from her eyes, which were glowing with green fire. Before John could say anything, the girl's mouth opened unnaturally wide, and she suddenly moved closer to him.
The black Mustang flew off the road at high speed and rolled over several times. The driver seemed to still be alive after the incident, but it looks like the wild animals found him before we did.
He was out of luck. Let's wrap it up here. The sun will set soon.